Hey guys, Troy with Mopars5150. We're heading off to MCACN. We are in Fernley, Nevada. We were going to take a video this morning, but it was a little bit too dark, so we figured we'd wait till we got out here in the desert. But we're taking 5 cars to the barn find section. We have a couple others that are going into some other sections of the show, but MCACN's always been a big favorite of ours, and so we're making the trip cross country from California to Chicago now, mostly because of this car right here, which is the pink Super Bee. As far as we know at this point, it's the only known pink Mopar from the factory, and we want to, bring it out and be able for people to see it, so that when we restore it, that they've seen it the way it was when we got it. One of the issues that we're having with it is this 99 paint code, which is not FM3, because this is not an FM3 car. It's basically a one-off. It's a one of none. It's a unicorn. Nobody ever even knew that it existed. I think it's going to turn some heads this week. We're Mopar guys, but we chase all muscle cars. So we'll have 5 cars in the barn find section. This will have already happened by the time you see this. So you'll see other clips out there on the internet. But if you've never been to MCACN, which is Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, if you've never been, you should make a point. If you're serious about cars, you should make a point to make it out there at some point. They do an amazing job. How does somebody just drive around with a 426 Hemi in the back of their car? We're on our way to MCACN, as we had talked about earlier, and the guy that we met a few years ago, his name's Keith Knoll. He doesn't know we're coming, but we figured we'd surprise him and just check out his shop and say hello. They do an amazing job restoring these old muscle cars. They're about as passionate as we are. And so he's on the way. He's right off of Highway 80, which we're going to be going right past there. So we thought we'd give him a surprise visit, just stop in with them. We brought some hats. We want to show him the pink cars so we can get his opinion. He knows these cars up there with the best of them, and so we're looking forward to seeing him and saying hello. We'll also see him at MCACN, but we want to see them where they're at, see their place, and so you'll hopefully we'll get some good footage from that.
Well, let's give you a tour of what we got going on here. So I've been here 26 years in this first building, and then 10 years ago I bought the building next to me, and that's where I moved all my body shop and paint booth and everything. This is totally original paint, just wet sanded and buffed. It's here for some preservation work on the engine. It developed a miss. Yeah. And we're gonna put some new plugs and wires in it.
Very cool, man.
Totally original though. The paint shined up super nice.
It's in amazing condition.
Colorado is where it was born and raised. Right around Colorado.
What a beauty.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, and when they're restored and you can smell it, that is original. Yeah. You can just smell that it's original.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This thing's awesome, man. Really cool.
This is a resto mod. This is a 69 Cornet 500, but he wants a Super Bee, so we're doing it as he wants. It's going to get a white stripe, black interior. This is a 2016 Dodge Challenger blue. It's got some purple in it. Yeah, it's beautiful. Total resto mod. This is Chris and me on the paint and body work. And we quarter panels and stuff.
The cool stuff.
But yeah, we did some videos of this, painting it, putting the engine in on the K-frame, and
this thing's beautiful, man. You guys did a nice job.
Yeah,
very nice.
This is for one of my cars. This is for my '69 GTX.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and I like to build them out. I call them a module. It's just a whole unit. It's ready to install, 4-speed.
Right down,
matching.
Right down to the
overspray, paper tags,
the manifolds. A lot of times people don't do that anymore.
I have people argue with me like, what? Oh, you don't paint them? And I'm like, well,
no, you're supposed to paint them.
Some NOS parts, air filter and oil filter and some other stuff.
Beautiful.
So that's what we do. This car, 29,000 miles, 446 pack car, 4-speed.
Is this a customer car?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stowed away for 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
The story is
can we take a little part of that fender tag?
Yep, we have the build sheet and everything for it too. Story is early in its life, the engine got hurt. Broken ring is what I've been told. Now the engine's not here, but it's on its way. And we're supposed to go through the engine and put it back together, and then it's probably going to make it to the Nationals next year as well. This car is a California car. It's got a Texas dealership on the trunk lid. This car is 1,000,000% rust free.
That's awesome.
Original exhaust is still on. So this is my daily driver. This was in the barn finds last year.
Yeah,
and it's
I saw
a legit barn find. A friend of mine.
I think I remember when you pulled it out.
Yeah, Ryan Brute did a whole video.
Yeah.
He was there, and it was sitting next to a GTX, which we're going to have at the barn finds next year. This
Very
engine's
nice.
never been out of the car. I just done some work on it to keep it original, and it had headers on it, and it had chrome valve covers, and we just put a heater core in it, and I'm just making it go. I'm going to restore it someday. You can see the original, and like everybody did back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Painted the engine bay black. And
they Chevyized it.
Yep. Lost the fender tag, but I have the build sheet.
Perfect.
So I can prove, what the car was.
Right.
So I drive this around town. I get all kinds of looks.
I love the 71s.
People think they're ugly, or this is ugly, but I dig it.
No, I dig
just
it.
like my old Charger.
Yeah.
Primer is cool.
Yeah.
You have more fun with them.
I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah. This car here, original owner still owns it. He bought this car brand new. It's a real 340 car, all original paint. And just kind of like the Bronco, we fixed the dead paint, brought it back, original stripes. We still have the original polyglass tires. We're going to put them back on for the show, and then we put these BFGs on just so you can drive it. But original motor, we just found the fender tag today. Chris and I went down to one of the old chicken coops, found it right away. It was sitting in underneath a drawer and in one of his toolboxes.
Crazy.
So we have the original
That's awesome.
window sticker, build sheet, and fender tag.
This one's solid.
This one's a lemon twist car, 318 car, born lemon twist, but it's 340 car now.
Convertible. I didn't even see that.
The previous
I thought
owner
it was a vinyl
had
top, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit.
The previous owner had like really changed it up. He added rubber bumpers, rally gauges. It's got a thumb wheel, a radio. So he really power window car too. Manual top, power windows. Even the right front fender is off of orange AR. But we're not going to paint the outside. But the owner said, "Hey, we got to get it really roadworthy. Why don't we just do the engine bay?" And we decided we're gonna put a stiffening kit in it. So hey, we're gonna pull the interior out to do some welding. We're gonna pop the glass, and but not paint the outside. And so yeah, just
these convertibles are getting so hard to find.
Yep, 1970.
Yeah,
just a 318 car, but still totally cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is
it's a 68.
This is a Cornet 500 318 car.
Okay.
In that real light kind of a frost green color. And this car had been in the current family for like 30 years. And they're actually friends of mine, and I grew up around this car. And the car has been wrecked, and it's been in 2 floods. And finally they got to a point in their life where they're like, hey, it needs a proper restoration. And we've been talking to them for years and years about it. And man, it needed frame rails and trunk, and like it's rusty. 2 floods and 1 rear end collision. So
that's a lot of work to do that kind of metal work on a convertible.
Right.
Because you have less to kind of
well, you see the brace in there.
Yeah.
And it's we built this jig years ago, and it'll fit whatever B body, and we've had several cars on there.
Yeah.
And
one up there in the center, that one was on it before this one.
Yeah, we have similar jig, but usually when you have the full, you can bring it up and you can cut the whole car apart and you still have the roof structure, whereas in this you don't have a roof.
Right.
So it's a different deal altogether.
Well,
we haven't done a convertible.
Yeah, see my support under the wheel well there. And truth be known, I've watched your Instagram videos, and I've looked at like how you support the outside.
Yeah.
And I've like paused it, and I've like looked at your jigs, and I'm like they got it going on, and I got the same thing. I don't know how I can make it better. But everyone's got their own, like,
as long as it works.
Right. It's square and it's super rigid and it's mobile. I can roll it around.
Yeah.
So this is one that we've done.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen this one online.
You might have.
Yeah.
318 car, but has a 340 in it now.
68.
Go ahead and open the door, Chris. We did all the metal work, and we put the 340 hood on it. And we're just kind of finishing up. Now, the owner of this car is pretty handy. He's done the brakes on it, and then when you see the engine, it's pretty impressive under the hood. 318 car, but he's got this. This is a board and stroke 360, and he's put some time into it. He's got friends that have a machine shop, so they're doing like aluminum welding and stamping and stuff like that. So
very cool.
There's the air cleaner is a one-off, and then the reservoir box, and we even have a battery tray that's all aluminum, and so pretty cool car.
Very cool.
68, just a regular 318 car, but
And it's
he
not
wanted to.
V5.
Yeah, it's
like,
what Q1 or whatever
yeah.
it is. Yeah, and so. Yeah, just a really cool resto mod car. So that's about the last of the shiny cars to show you. But this is what we do, Chris and I.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Jerome is, I call him my plumber and electrician, but he's the assembly guy. Does wiring, whether it's factory or aftermarket wiring. Does all the fuel systems and AC systems.
Awesome. At this point, we've already visited with Keith. It was a fantastic visit. He has an awesome shop. He has great employees. They're building some awesome cars. Tony's about ready to head out. They've been loading the cars up in Texas. We have a classic car dealership called American Steel Classics in just outside of Dallas in Allen, Texas. And he heads that up, and they're bringing up a couple of Fords. I know it's kind of odd, Mopars5150, we're Mopar guys, but it's a Ford year at MCACN, and we have a Shelby and a T5 convertible K-Code that we just picked up. We thought it would be interesting to show those cars since it is a Ford year at MCACN this year. So they're getting ready, they're loading those up, and they're heading our way. Today's gonna be a busy day, it's gonna be fun. Our favorite part of the whole show is the Thursday and Friday before the show actually kicks off. It's when we're able to meet a lot of the people bringing their cars, celebrating their builds, their finds, that kind of stuff. And we just love the barn find section. It's one of our favorite parts. So it's gonna be interesting how this comes down, especially since we have 5 cars going to the barn find section. And then we also have 5 cars, 3 from Canada and the 2 that Tony are bringing up. So we're looking forward to seeing how that all plays together. It's a little stressful, but we think it's going to be an incredible week at MCACN. So at this point, we're literally at MCACN, and the original plan on this Boss 429 was to get the engine and put it into the car. Unfortunately, the engine brackets were not included, just kind of a mishap, which actually worked out to our benefit. We'll display the engine on the outside of the car. After MCACN, we're gonna have to take it home, so we need to make sure that it's secure. So unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to put it into the Boss 429. However, we will have it displayed on the outside. As we had talked about earlier on the way here, Dave Wise he's just one of the guys out there that if he certifies it is what it is, it is. And so we've asked him to come out, look at our Pink Bee, and give his opinion and write up a report on it. We want to restore the car, and so this part is extremely important. This is the reason that we're here.
Well, kind of the way I start out with, I look for the, obviously the VIN numbers. There's a VIN number on the back of the core support, that's your primary. I've already looked in the trunk for the secondary. And then what I'm looking for is dial-out stamp numbers and stamps from the manufacturer. For example, there's a G in a circle here. I always look for that detail. It's just one data point. I look for the locations of where all the dial-out stamp numbers are, and I look at the general configuration of the firewall. Look at, you know, there's a 4-speed, so I'm looking for the pedal support, looking for the tachometer. I see the tachometer lead there, so clearly it hasn't been butchered in, so that's the real tach. And then I just start going around throughout the vehicle looking for really small things that most people would overlook. Generally what somebody's going to look for is just simply the VIN numbers and call it good. But as these cars escalate in value, that's not sufficient. And even if you look at the fenders, here's another example if you want to get a shot of this. Right by that, you know, there is another dial-out stamp number that we go after. It's right next to that plastic.
Yeah. So was it orange first or was it pink first?
It's pink.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once I went through the entire car, I've gone underneath, looked at the frame configurations, grabbed as many dial-out stamp numbers as I could. Then I start to look at other features to try to match it up to what the VIN or the trim tag is saying. So in the back, this is going to be a tougher shot. But again, as you can see by the back of my uniform, I've been crawling around the back of this thing and grabbing all the dial-out stamp numbers that are under the vehicle, that are under the Dutchman panel, up under here. What I can grab on the Dutchman support, what I can grab on the rear tail panel, what I can grab on, and you can, if you look from the top side, you can see there's a dial-out stamp number right there in the gutter. And so these pieces are separate pieces to the quarter panel. And to try to verify that nothing's been changed, there is the VIN number for the vehicle is right here. However, people are always skeptical, this is a restamp, not on this particular car, but in general. So what I try to do is match up this section of rail with this section of a rail, and they both have identical dial-out stamp numbers. So that gives me high confidence, as well as the Dutchman panel has a similar number to this number. There's another number here. They all match up and tie together. So that gives me a high level of confidence that nothing has been cut in this vehicle. Then of course, as I was in there, I would go as far up as I can above the wheel wells and just check for any metalwork, anything that's been done, and I'm not finding anything. So then you can start to sort of let your guard down a little bit. Now it becomes fun because in my mind, I've already validated the car, it's good. Now I'm looking for anything else that can help the owner in his restoration, confirmation, and just for his archiving and sort of what you're doing, videography, the vehicle. You know, it's exciting. It's exciting to see a vehicle like this. I go through many of these vehicles like this. There's one up in the front of the show. I saw the vehicle before it was restored. I saw it after it was dipped. We recorded all the dial-out stamp numbers on that car once it was dipped. I think I pulled probably somewhere around 60 dial-out stamp numbers off it to absolutely confirm, because it's a rare Hemi car, to confirm that is the car. And just like I'm doing here, I mean, I am highly confident this is the car as being represented. And like I say, unlike some people that just rely on a VIN number, can't do it anymore.
So these are, I mean, you know, back in the day, they were just, you know, cars
Yep.
in the background for the most part. You see the hood scoop there. You know, they're taking pictures of the bikes, but the cars
Right,
in the
in
background.
the background, yeah.
And so the son of the original owner
That's
gave
a
me,
pretty cool
you know, that's
shot.
cool, right? You know,
Yep, with the bike. Exactly.
and the thing it also proves is those scoops, actually I want to see, because I was wondering that myself, were they original? Is there a scoop on there? 'Cause that's the other thing I wanted to know, because I mean I want it to be as represented, and if they
Yeah, I
added
mean-
those,
I mean, this scoop is in this photo.
yeah, and they would, okay.
And it's certainly in that photo. And, you know,
Because the weird part is when you take that scoop off,
Yeah.
it's got perfect pink paint. But that wouldn't have been added after that, so I don't, I mean, you would know better than I do.
I'm not certain 100% if the scoop wasn't a separate item after when the paint was painted.
Gotcha. Because that right there, if you take that off, it's like that's where you would color match it.
Yeah.
It's perfect, like
Yeah.
underneath the brake booster.
Yeah.
But
I've seen a lot of details before that are, you know, not painted with the car. They're painted, you know, either as an attachment, hooked to the car or something. You know, even when you look at how this is managed, there's a special mechanism that they put in here that they paint it. They repurpose these two fasteners. Then they put your latch on down the line in a body shop and then use your root fasteners. So that proves it. So there's really no telling.
Okay,
But I mean, I would find it hard to believe with, you know, a shot like that. I mean, clearly.
yeah, and they weren't like trying to fake it
No,
in
heck no.
70. That looks brand new.
Yeah, it does.
You know, that's the other thing I was wondering. See their body color on the wheels. These ones, they're so burned, but they're white. So I don't know if they switched them, because these are the wheels we got it with. There's the tag and there's the overspray on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is obviously a Lynch Road tag,
yeah.
and a Lynch Road tag is not hung, so it's not hung in a fender, it's hung from the roof rail. So there's never much paint on a Lynch Road tag.
Ah, okay. That's why it's not bent?
Yeah.
Because it hung
'Cause
instead of
yeah,
it.
Lynch Road, they
I'm
always
learning something. That's awesome.
Lynch Road, they always hung it. There's a lot of photos that prove that, you know, these tags were hung. But there's no doubt, you know, as far as the color. And that's what it'd be. It's usually hung from just a large paper clip.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're searching through survivor cars, you'll see that paper clip just laying on the floor.
Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. So we bought it from the original owner's son, and the original owner had passed away at like 94 years old or something like that a few years earlier. So we only got the story from the son, and he just remembered his dad driving a pink Bee. And then later in the 70s, he painted it orange. I think he got too much attention in the pink, you know, because obviously it wasn't as cool then.
Right.
And but we think, you know, based on where I found the car and stuff like that, I think it was like somebody ordered it or somehow, and it got to the dealer, and maybe they couldn't sell it, and he got it at a deal. Because it sounded like he knew the owner of the dealership, but he would. I didn't take it to where he would be like, "Hey, I want to go and buy this." And when I was talking to the son, but you know, that's all speculation. It's nothing that we can prove. And we still talk to the son.
So have you had any luck getting anything from the dealer?
The dealer's no
around,
longer there, and I think the record's burned. It was Barstow Dodge in Southern California.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm not saying they couldn't surface at some point, you know, and maybe with what we're doing here and our video and getting the word out there more than we've done.
on this car, yeah. Yeah,
So,
I believe so. It's just great. It's
but
a
I
great
haven't
car.
seen,
Great
I haven't
piece.
had anybody, everybody's doubted it online, or not everybody, a lot of people though, but anybody that's ever seen this car has said,
I don't know
no doubt.
You know, that's the challenge with, you know, giving anybody access to the internet.
Yes.
Is that, you know, it sort of hurts the hobby or stings the car when people are skeptical about vehicles.
Right.
And I mean, it's been proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is what it is.
I appreciate that, man. I just appreciate the honesty, and I would have taken it if you said it wasn't, because that's just the way it is. It is what it is.
No, it's.
But we literally came here with all these cars specifically to bring this for you to look at it and basically, you know, do basically what you're doing.
Yeah, you scrape some paint. You know, scrape some paint on the top of the wheel well. I'm going to scrape some paint in the bottom. And
under that undercoating, you can't get that paint underneath there.
No, same thing on the top. And you know where I go after is if you go up in the, go up into where the rollers are and where the sliders are there, you remove some of the grease, and you see there's paint on it. There's no other paint on it. There's just so many little areas you have to look in. The back of the hinges to get the dip line and get some blow in from the from the color.
Yeah.
It's just,
and then like we saw under the wire cutters, it looks like brand new.
Yeah.
And we'd never pushed them up until the other day when we did a little video. We just kind of pushed it up a little bit because we didn't want to disturb it too much in case that was important for you.
Yeah.
And we took a picture, and it looks like brand new paint underneath the wire covers.
No, I think it's a great find.
Yeah, I love this car.
It's a rare piece.
We have a lot of cars, and this is our number one to us. It's not it's probably not the most valuable, but it's the number one car.
So what's the intent? I mean,
to have you and the world know that it is what it is, document it, and then we're going to fully restore it. Do you think we should restore it, or do you think we should?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I wouldn't even think twice.
Okay.
I mean, it's great to see it. I mean, you're showing it. People can come and look at it and appreciate it. But, a vehicle like this absolutely needs a restoration.
Yeah. So our plan is to take it back, strip it all down, paint, all that kind of stuff. Bill is going to be the one that does the full drivetrain, and then we have a top-notch interior guy that's going to do the interior, and then. In a year or two, depending on when we finish it, we're planning on bringing it back here and unveiling it here.
Yeah.
So this is our favorite show. I'm 2,200 miles away from this place.
If I could only pick one show to come to,
this is the one I go to.
I'd come to.
Yeah. I only go to one religiously every year. I'll go to some, veteran charity shows and different good guys when they come to town here and there, to go to the swap meet or go to the car corral. But this is the one that, like, when you walk around here, you see the best of the best. You meet, especially the first 2 days, like when it's set up.
Oh yeah, that's the best
all the
part.
People, because it's all the people that have the cars, and you get to talk to them, get to know them, who's who, and whatnot.
If I didn't even come today, it wouldn't have bothered me because I've been here Thursday.
Absolutely,
I've got the 2 days.
Yes, Thursday and Friday were great.
Yeah,
my feet are like nubs though. I don't know if I'll be able to walk all day today, but
your enthusiasm will keep you moving.
It's kept me since Monday. Him and I have been driving from California. We drove across the country. It was crazy, but anyway.
We got lucky with the weather anyhow.
Yes, and you've helped us on several times, and just out of the goodness of your heart. So I really appreciate doing some business with you because we'd found that bird and there was one digit off and there was the wrong digit to be off, and it was just a title issue. Yeah. But we were we were worried because
I see that. All the vehicles I look at in a year. I often see that it's no big deal.
Yeah, and so we were confident after talking to you that we were good to go, and that meant a lot.
Yeah, and that's where I think you get a lot of doubters, on the internet that may not, or anywhere, any social media site, internet or elsewhere or print, is they're just not looking at the volume of vehicles that I am.
Yes.
I'm looking at, I'm probably pretty close to 800 vehicles a year, and it's just it's mental memory, and I've learned to try to peel back the onion, and that's why, I'm pretty certain I'm the only one in the world that is mapping all the dial-out stamp numbers on all these vehicles so that I can tell instantaneously where a car's been rebodied or things have been replaced.
Gotcha.
Now, cars, accidents happen, so pieces get replaced, but when you're looking at very valuable cars and a lot of pieces on all corners are missing, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So it definitely will impact the value of that vehicle.
Yes.
Value and collectability.
Yeah, we have one that we're doing right now that we're concerned about that because it's really rough, but it's very, it's a really neat car, and so we're fighting that struggle because we don't do any rebodies. That's not who we are. We'll repair it from the worst of the worst, but then you got to, you have to either use aftermarket or you got to spend a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and it really depends what you're, what you're replacing. If you've got this whole area where that VIN number goes, but everything else is fine, and you can videotape or record what you're absolutely doing and putting that number back in or reattaching that rail, I don't see that as a problem.
Right.
And that's where people, I believe, get in trouble is there's no record, no history on a vehicle, and all of a sudden it shows up and it's this miraculous vehicle. There's no pictures, no videography like what you're doing. I'm not looking at it. Those I'm always skeptical of.
Yeah.
If a car doesn't have a story, it generally is a problem.
Yeah, and we're learning that because we learn every day.
Yeah, we all do.
Our world is more picky than most of them, like Chevys and stuff like that. So we're learning that as well. So we're doing the best we can to increase our documentation of the cars that we do, especially if they're important cars. Like this one and some of the other cars that we've built as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the other one that, if you have time, and I know you're busy and stuff like that, but we have the window sticker and the build sheet to that bird, but it's missing the fender tag. So I wanted to talk to you about
we'll go over there and take a look at
a fender tag for that.
Yeah.
So
not a problem.
I'll let you keep going.
Okay.
I appreciate it, bud. I really do. This is my good buddy Mike. He also goes by Bud on Facebook and Instagram. Met about 4 years ago, roughly 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe.
Sent him some stickers. He had inquired, and we sent him some free stickers. And in turn, he brought us a complete sign here to MCACN and holding it up in the middle, and it was amazing. So we've been friends ever since. He's very highly skilled, as you can see. We had him do custom signs for us to display the 5 barn finds. There's a signature at the bottom. These are all hand painted and it's absolutely stunning. So just wanted to make sure that we give him credit for the amazing talent and amazing work that he's done on these signs. So go ahead and give him some details about how you did it and how you came up with the design, any type of information you want to share.
No, so you kind of told me you wanted around 18 by 24 inch, so that's what we did. It's on what's called alu panel, so it's like a polycarbonate that has a real thin veneer of aluminum on both sides. It's like kind of a satin finish. You can scuff it, do whatever you want to, do any custom paint you want, but what I did was I tried to mix the colors as close to the cars as I could, and made my design based on, I wanted to have a detail of each car, whether it be the logo, the emblem. You know, Moparts is known for their crazy decals and stuff, so I wanted to showcase that stuff on all these cars. Ford's got the Killer Cobra decal, so I did that. And then the Boss 9, just the outline of the Boss 429 on the fender. But just lay it out, maybe simple measurements. It's all brush, using MAC brushes, using one-shot paint.
Simple. It's always simple.
So one-shot paint. So this is enamel. It's really, really good, strong stuff. I just took Troy's logo, which I've always done in the past, added that to the bottom of the sign, and the sizable, you can't miss whose cars these are, right? The year, you know, the make, the model, and the lettering is just different styles of just brush, quick, you know, kind of lettering. They take me roughly, I don't know how many I have in each sign, but I'd say it's between 40 and 60 hours of my time over about 3.5 weeks from start to finish.
He's not going to brag about himself, so he's always going to be humble, so I'm going to brag about him a little bit. I just want you to take a look. This is stuff that he hand painted. All of this stuff he hand painted, and when you get up into this Cobra, that's all hand painted. When you get down to that Superbird down there, it's all hand painted. So everything on here is laid out. It's not a stencil. It's literally his.
It's all brushwork.
It's all brushwork. So again, he's humble. He's not going to really tell you that kind of stuff, but he just did an amazing job, and I want to make sure that he gets credit for that stuff.
No, and I appreciate you guys asking me to do this for you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Awesome.
And I'd love to do more in the future. And like he said, Bud Mac is what I go by on Facebook. I don't have a page for my art or anything, but on Instagram and YouTube, I'm Muscle Car Syndicate, so people can find me that way. That's how we met, like you said. You just had some free stickers. I brought him a sign.
Yep. So if you want a sign made, reach out to him. He'll put it together, and you'll be very happy with it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
Join us next week for part 2 of our journey to Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals.